MK, and I am here with another May I Scrap Lift You. Today I am lifting the amazing Sarah Tushy, and she created this gorgeous layout for some assemblage required, and I would like to lift her. So what I have done is I picked out a die set from this Stampin' Up! Stamp set. It's a stamp and die set that's a couple years old, but I picked out these layering flowers as well as a couple leaves from another stamp set. But I used the flowers from this particular set in order to get the flowers that I made. And then I found the flowers that Sarah actually used. But it was good to know that I was able to use a different set instead of needing the exact set that she had. So I've already pre-assembled all of my flowers, and I went and put enamel dots in the center of them. And then the leaf die set is from, it's from a different Stampin' Up! Set. But I also took this almost like a berry leaf, as well as the smallest flower from my Stampin' Up! Set, and made these little viney flowers to go with my my decor, I guess. And then from the Cricut, I made several leaves and then used my ball stylus to give them dimension. From Some Assemblage Required, I have a bunch of flowers from the May embellishment box, as well as a couple of little open stemmed flowers that are just an extra item in the shop. I have the We Are Here wood round or tree ring. I have just a bunch of stuff. And then from Minte, the Woodland collection, I took this tree ring. And this was gorgeous as well. I debated about using this one too, but I took the tree ring and fussy cut the tree ring. So there it is, all fussy cut and ready to go. And then when I flipped it over, it looked like I already cut out the wreath as well, but I'm going to use the tree ring. From Close to My Heart, I have this sticker sheet. I wasn't sure if I was going to use that big bear or if I was going to use this little bear that is, I believe, from the Lakeside collection. I'm not really sure. I can't remember now where that came from. But I do know that there's a few other bits and pieces that I might use for this particular layout. I have a piece of brown cardstock that I plan on using to mat my 3 photos. So I'm going to get 3 photos on this particular layout. There are my kids with a bear. And then I'm going to use this gorgeous wood grain that is also a Stampin' Up! Wood grain for my background instead of a plain white background. I just wanted something a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and decide where I want my tree ring first. And then I'm going to pop the whole thing up on foam. I'm not going to make you guys watch me cut apart all this foam and put it on top. It's not very entertaining. So the first thing I'm going to do is check and see where I've got my, placement set. And because the tree ring went off the page, as far as the print goes, I did have to adjust and cut out and pretend like, things were where they were supposed to be in order for that tree ring and all the little leaves and things to not fall off the page. I did not want them to fall off the page. So I had to, makeshift some cuts and stuff like that. So I'm going to take my edge distressor, and which is also available in the Some Assemblage Required Etsy shop. Or no, it's not Etsy. I'm sorry. It's a website. It is currently out of stock, but it will be put back in stock here shortly. One more thing I'm working on. And I went ahead and I cut all my photos and edge distressed my brown cardstock, again, just for dimension. That's all it is for some very thin dimension and lift and texture. So I went ahead and I placed my my tree ring exactly the way that Sarah had hers. And it didn't really go with how I wanted to put my photos. I wasn't sure if I wanted the Trading Post sign to be my title. So I'm going to let it sit here and kind of think about it. And then I decided, nope, I want all those flowers and things to be my main embellishment cluster. And then I flipped my my trading post sign, and it fit much better up in that corner. So I'm glad I rotated it. So it's not going to look exactly like Sarah's, but I do refer to Sarah's layout quite a bit as far as placement of the flowers and whatnot. Even though I did still turn my layout, I still put, all the flowers down. Now my flowers are a little bit bigger than hers are because, again, I did not use the same die set that she used. And she also used some twigs that I forgot. So those will be coming in here shortly. So I'm going to go through and place down all my large flowers first, making sure that they have room and whatnot. I'm going to only use one tree ring little word bit instead of two like Sarah used. So because instead of having more embellishments, I brought in a third photo. So that's the only difference here. But like I said, I'm just going off of where Sarah had hers, where she had hers placed is where I was going to start placing mine. She had, two large ones here, a large one over here, so on and so forth. And so I'm just going ahead and laying that out so that way it's not, so I don't miss anything. I'm also going to add a little bit more of this foam in the corner where I added my photo so it doesn't start to tip or get smushed. For my foam, I usually do my double-sided tape, my ATG tape, for a permanent stick or for an instant stick, and then I use my liquid glue for a permanent stick. That way I don't have to worry. I can still continue to work on the layout, and I don't have to worry about it popping off the page. And if I just use double-sided tape, I don't have to worry about it possibly falling off the layout years to come. So it is kind of redundant to do both, but I don't have the patience to put something down while the glue sets is my only thing. So I debated about putting on the leaves first, and then I decided against it. I was like, no, I'm going to set all these down and then see where I need to tuck and weave my leaves. This is definitely a lot of layering and strategy in all honesty, because there's things that go in front and things that go in back. And so once I get my flower placement down, I do need to place down the more I don't want to call them leafy leaves, but the more intricate leaves. I'm going to put those down first before I put these broad leaves down. And as you can tell, I'm kind of in one of those, well, what do I do first type of deals. And that's when I realized I needed to lay down all of these more intricate leaves down first and get them where I wanted them. Now I'm only gluing down the very bottom of the stems, so that way I don't have to worry about, what's the word? That way I can get the lift. That's what I'm looking for. Sorry, you guys. I knew this was going to be a rough voiceover, especially when it's pretty repetitive. So I did fast forward this quite a bit because it is me just going all over the place and gluing it back down. I'm gluing these leaves down first, and then I'm going to go back again and glue more leaves down and just add some fillers and whatnot. Like I said, I haven't figured out that the stems are missing yet, or the twigs. So I do go through, actually, like I said, I totally forgot that I had the exact same die set that Sarah used. And so I finally had to ask someone if they had a twig die, and Janet right next to me did. So I went off and cut some of those out, and we'll be bringing those back in. But before I glue the flowers down, I'm gluing all of my broad leaves down now. So I did ink the edges of these leaves, so that way they are a little bit on the darker side, because I thought after I die cut them, they looked really good together, but then I die cut them and then they looked very, very bright. I do like how they blend in with the printed leaves that were already on the tree ring, but also too, my son is wearing a bright neon green shirt, so that also helps as well. So, and then of course, I didn't want to do the dark flower like Sarah did. I really wanted, for one, I really like the peach. So I just decided to do a peach, and mine has a little sparkle to it. And I did use my stylus as well. The branches that I'm adding, or the twigs that I'm adding to this layout, I honestly, I feel like complete this layout. It was really looking okay with just the leaves, but now that you add the branches, oh my gosh, that was like the perfect touch to this layout. And again, I'm only gluing down the very end. I am not gluing down the tips of them, so that way they pop off the page, especially with the foam underneath everything. I did go ahead and decide to use the smaller brown bear for my layout, and then I put up another little word going on. I couldn't tell you what it says, but I did put a smaller word up there, and then I'm going to go ahead and add all of my wood veneer. Now, I do have to say that my wood veneer does not have the adhesive on it. These are my test pieces, and I don't usually end up cutting an extra set for me just so I can have adhesive on the back. So I don't do things like that. My tree ring has my tree ring ended up having adhesive on the back, but normally my cuts don't have adhesive on the back for purposes of the fact that mine are the test cuts. And if they turn out great, they turn out great. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add my little buds in. I absolutely love these adorable little buds. I was actually trying to replicate what Sarah had done with her little buds. She had individual little ones. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to put them all here, and then I will cut them apart and add them all over my layout. But they turned out so well as a whole that I decided to go ahead and keep some of them as a whole, and then take some of them and put them on my layout as individuals as well. I'm going to go ahead and bring in some more broad leaves for a filler again, and then just make sure that I can keep everything as secure. The last little bit that I'm going to add is a couple of these green rhinestones. They are so uber tiny, but they add a little bit of sparkle all over the layout and draw your eye around the layout. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the layout off with that, and that is it. They're just cute, adorable little photos of my kids at Yosemite's Trading Post. And every year at June Lake, and it's not every year, it's every other year, we take a picture by the bear. And I think it's kind of cool because then I can see how my kids have grown up, in all honesty. So anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really, truly appreciate it. Sarah, your layouts are amazing, and it was very hard for me to just pick one. So I definitely wanted this layout in my album for sure. I really did. It was absolutely gorgeous. I cannot thank you enough for your inspiration layouts that you share with everyone. So thank you so much. Please be sure to check out the link down below for everyone else that is playing along with May I Scraplift You. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I will check y'all later. Bye.